Good afternoon. My wife Casey and I are in the Charles Deam Wilderness area in the Hoosier National Forest in Indiana. We're out here doing an overnight trip, and we were originally planning on having a very short day one and a much longer day two, but you know what? We just felt so ambitious that we are going to flip that and do a longer day one and a shorter day two. But we do have plans to camp next to a beautiful, gorgeous lake, so I am looking forward to that. Weather-wise, it is in the low 60s right now. We'll get down to low 40s overnight. And it is scheduled to rain most of the afternoon and early evening. Not really heavy rain. It's not raining right now. It was drizzling when we rolled in, but so far so good. The last time I was here, about a year ago, oh man, was it horrible weather. Ugh. It was raining, it was sleeting, it was snowing, and it was cold. And this is also where I made quite possibly one of my worst backpacking mistakes to date. I will fill you in a little later on what exactly I'm talking about once I get to that section. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with water crossings. Well, I have not been doing a very good job keeping clear of all these puddles. Whew, my feet are already soaked. This is a combined hiking and horse trail, so there are a whole lot of big post holes from those horses. And you gotta watch where you step. Casey said that this is an African violet.
Bird's foot violet?
Bird's foot violet?
Yes.
Oh.
African violets are in Africa.
I know nothing about plants, so I'm going to take her word for it.
I can see a lot of people not enjoying this weather.
Well, it's started to drizzle again. We've got our hoods up and our pack covers on. At least she does. I'm using a Superior Wilderness Designs frameless 30 pack. It's made out of X-Pack material, which is waterproof. And I recently seam sealed the pack. If you want to take a look at that video and see how I did that, click on the link up there. We'll see how well that works. It might not be raining hard enough on this trip to really test it, but if the inside does get wet, even from drizzling, then I'll know that I didn't do a very good job. Getting pretty close to the Blackwell horse campground. Maybe we'll stop for a quick break. What do you think? Maybe. Or keep going. We'll see. I think we're making pretty good time so far. So, we originally intended on just doing a very short hike on day one and a longer hike on day two. I think I mentioned that already. Did I mention that?
You did, but that's okay. Reiterate it.
Oh, I'm getting old. I can't remember anything anymore. This will put us into camp right around 7:30 or so. Sunset's about 8:30. And yeah, we're just trying to make good time so we have a little more time at camp. But on the plus side, we will have more time tomorrow morning when it's not going to be raining. So that's kind of nice. Made it to the Blackwell horse campground. And as the name implies, it is a campground for horses. And the first time I came here, I made the mistake of thinking that you can park overnight in this lot. But according to some sign, you cannot do that unless you have a horse, which I did not have at the time. But perhaps the most important piece of information about the Blackwell Horse Campground is that yes, they do have privies. And mighty nice privies, if I can say so myself. They even have little windows. How cute. So we did not take a break at Blackwell Campground. We are just pushing on ahead. It's about 4:45 right now. I'm already getting hungry. Are you getting hungry? No, Casey's not getting hungry. I'm getting hungry. Ugh. Everything is so green. It's so nice to finally see leaves again. Whew, they're just starting to come out back in Chicago, but down here in Indiana, they're in full bloom.
Which Chicago's having a snowstorm right now.
It is. We dodged the snowstorm. Man, 3 to 8 inches of snow. Mm-hmm. It's what, April 26th, 27th?
27th?
Something like that. Crazy. So speaking of April, this is actually my second backpacking trip of the month, which I am very happy about. 2 weeks ago, I went backpacking in the Manistee River Loop again in Michigan. And I unfortunately did not take enough footage to make a true video out of that. I apologize deeply. But hopefully I'll make up for it in this trip by blabbing on endlessly. So this is interesting. Looks like a rock, right? But it is not a rock. Look at that. It is one big pile of mud. So like pretty much every backpacking trip video on YouTube, you really only get to see like a 5% snippet of the entire trip. And have you ever stopped to wonder, what in the world do those people talk about for the other 95% of the time? Well, for us on this trip so far, it's really mostly just been us farting and talking about underwear. Is that about right? Would you say we've been farting and talking about underwear? Yeah.
Just like at home.
Just like at home. Well, we got to the spot where I made my worst backpacking decision to date. This is our first water crossing, and you're probably going to laugh by the sight of this somewhat pathetic water crossing this time. It's not very high, but the last time I was here, the water was much higher, and you cannot rock hop it. You just had to go straight through, and it was much colder. And at the time, I was still using some really heavy, waterproof kind of hiking boots, and I knew that if I walked through with those boots on, they would not dry. They don't even dry on a hot, dry day, let alone a cold, wet one like I did last year. And instead of just taking off my boots and walking through just with my bare feet like I should have done, I went straight through with my boots on, even though I knew that the temperature was going to get below freezing and my boots would freeze, which is exactly what happened. And the following day, man, I have to tell you, I was so worried about my toes because those boots were frozen solid and my toes were really hurting me. I was very worried about frostbite. Fortunately, I was fine. There were enough puddles as I was hiking to start to warm up the boot and my feet. But anyway, that was by far the stupidest backpacking decision I have made so far.
Yeah, that served me anyway.
So much easier this time. All right, here's our next water crossing. So the water again is a lot lower than it was last time. And I think what we're going to do we can go on that little rock formation there, and it's not very deep, right along here, and just walk along to the other side.
There's no way we're not getting wet.
Yeah, we're gonna get a little wet.
This is going down. Let's just do it.
Ugh. Oh, yep. Oh. Well, it's a little deeper than I thought. Just a little. Okay, whatever. There we go. Yep, oh yeah, lot deeper. Well, that didn't work very well. Sure wish I had some pink waterproof socks right about now.
I love my pink waterproof socks.
I'll bet you do. Did I just repeat the stupidest backpacking decision I've ever made? My shoes are nice and wet, but at least it's not going to get nearly as cold as it did last year.
Right.
Well, we're at our third water crossing, and we walked down the trail a ways to try to find some place that we can rock hop, and I think we're going to go pretty much along there, but there's kind of a somewhat of a steep drop off. We're just going to have to slide on our butts. Probably can't really see this, but that's probably a good, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet down.
Easily.
So, you want to go first?
Absolutely. I'm all about going first each time.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet muscular juice. All right.
Want to hold on to me?
I don't know. I don't want to bring you down with me.
Want my other trekking pole?
No traction whatsoever. This whole thing is coming down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right there.
I don't know if this is gonna work out so well, sweetheart. We might have to go the other way.
All right. Well, what if we go on our? What if you turn around? Kind of go on your stomach.
I'm good.
Guess I should keep holding on to you, huh?
I think I'd rather just get wet in the river.
All right. Well, let's go get wet in the river. I'm a good multitasker. I can do both. Well, I made it down.
Dude, I'm going.
Okay, I got you. Okay, step over. We're alive. Now let's cross the damn stream. Well done. Oh, the things I try to film for the sake of documenting my mistakes.
Bravo.
All right, let's go find the trail. Well, we're on the Peninsula Trail now, heading down to the lake, which will be our campsite for the night. And we may have misjudged the timing just a little bit. We're probably going to get to camp maybe an hour later than we initially planned, so right about at sunset, but that's all right. We weren't planning on a long night at camp anyway. But I am getting hungry. Are you hungry?
So hungry.
So hungry. So looking forward to setting up the tent and getting some food. Well, we made it to camp and we are cooking some dinner. And to start off with, as an appetizer, my beloved bacon jerky. Of course, cannot go backpacking without this fine stuff. And then, as a main course, I have myself some cheesy rice-a-roni. I didn't know they made this stuff in this little, bowl thing. So, have some rice-a-roni and, just for good measure, some cheesy mashed potatoes. Not sure if I'm going to mix in the mashed potatoes with the rice-a-roni or just be a purist and eat them separate. I think I'm gonna mix them because the mashed potatoes will sop up any leftover water in the rice-a-roni, because I always add too much stuff with these things. Well, we'll see. And you have couscous, right?
Yep, couscous and tuna.
Couscous and tuna. Well, tummies are full and we are heading in for the night. Yeah, that's right. I am trying to start a fire. We shall see what happens. But good morning. Slept pretty well. I had a pretty good night's sleep. I've been using that new Thermarest compressible pillow. And I gotta say, I really like it. It's heavy, but it is comfy, and that's what counts for a pillow. Well, use enough Vaseline-soaked cotton balls, and even I can start a fire. Well, I spoke too soon. That fire's already dying out. I never said that I was good at making campfires, and I never will. But I thought I would show you around camp a little bit. So last night we used the tarp tent, Stratospire 2. Really like this tent. This is our second time using it, and it was fantastic. And yeah, we're camping right next to the lake. I think this is Lake Monroe. I believe it's Lake Monroe. And it is a decent view. We did have to walk a ways from the trail, maybe, I don't know, 2/10 of a mile or something, until we found a site that was flat enough. There are a lot of campsites along the lake to the left of the trail, but yeah, most of them are on a pretty decent incline, so not very good for tent camping. A whole lot of great spots for you wonderful hammock campers, but us lowly tent campers, we have to be a little more picky. Well, Casey is trying to revitalize my pathetic campfire. And I always manage to save at least some bacon jerky for the morning. So good. You know, if I can be serious for a moment, there are really two reasons why I love bacon jerky. Number one, it tastes like bacon, and you can't go wrong with that. And number two, compared to beef jerky, it's much more tender. It doesn't get stuck in your teeth as much, and I hate that part about beef jerky. So this bacon stuff, oh, it is so good. And I am not necessarily beholden to the Jack Link's brand. I am brand agnostic when it comes to bacon jerky. This stuff is just fine, but I've had other stuff that is equally as good. You really can't screw up bacon jerky, in my opinion. Have I said enough about bacon jerky yet? This water is super murky, so the poor Sawyer squeeze is having a tough time. I've backflushed it about 4 times so far, and it's still trickling down. Well, no one ever accused us of packing up camp too quickly. It's about 9:30, and we're still at it. Alright, people of YouTube, it's time to name that mysterious object. So we saw this just sitting on the side of the bank here, and there's another one down that way. And I think we may have seen another one in other ways too, and I have no idea what it is. It does say flotation on it, so it's meant to float. It's not just some garbage that washed across the shore. But if anyone has ideas of what that might be, feel free to comment, because I am genuinely interested. So Casey and I were talking about why in the world do we keep doing this? We're caked in mud, we're sore, we're tired, pretty much just like every trip. But by the time we get back to the car, the only thing we can think about is where we're going to go on our next trip. So, I guess the saying that the best backpackers are the ones with short memories really is true. But I don't know. Did we come to a conclusion about why we do this?
Adventure, time together,
Yeah.
endurance training.
Yeah, adventure's a big one for me. I definitely have to have a sense of adventure while going backpacking, or else I just don't have a good time. And I think Andrew Skirka, the very popular long-distance backpacker, said it best that when he was hiking the AT for the first time, which kind of kicked off his whole backpacking career, that someone asked him if it was fun. He said no. There's nothing fun about hiking 20 plus miles day in, day out, but it is rewarding. And I feel like that characterizes most of backpacking. It's not always fun. Sometimes it is. Sometimes. But it is rewarding. So I did promise to show you the map, and like always, I always forget to do it until much later in the trip, but better late than never. Alright, so we parked right here, and we originally were going to just go straight up to the Peninsula Trail over to the lake, but we decided it's going to be too short of a day one, so instead we hiked along Tower Ridge Road, over to Blackwell Campground, up along the Grubb Ridge Trail, and then to the Peninsula Trail over to the lake. And now we're hiking back along the Grubb Ridge Trail to the parking lot. Well, my little microphone from my phone fell off at some point, and we're backtracking a bit. We are going to put in an earnest effort into trying to find it, but unfortunately it's black, and the chances of us actually locating this thing are pretty slim. We'll see. See what I mean? There's no way we're gonna find a tiny little black microphone in all this mess. Well, look at that. Guess I should stop being Mr. Pessimistic, huh? Oh, poor microphone. All right, it was worth the extra 10 minutes. Well, we made it back to the parking lot. Oh, what a fun trip. Did you have fun?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a nice trip. A good challenging trip. Quite a workout.
Yeah.
But fun. Or, as I was saying before, not fun, rewarding. Well, thank you so much for watching. As always, stick around for a few bloopers. And if you enjoyed this video, want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. And of course, have fun out there. Oh, and the traditional burger after a long day's hike. What else can I say about rain? Pine needles are my friend. Poop! Big piece of poop. Not my poop. But perhaps the most... not quite sure why I'm giving you a tour of the privy. I think you know what that's all about. What was I saying? That car ruined my monologue.
Turn that camera around, mister.
Although I'm sure I'm going to make some more in the future. I don't need to say that. I think we're just going to have a nice... whatever. Why do I keep talking? And, I'm probably not going to include that, so why am I even saying it? And I'm just going to stop talking now because I'm tired of listening to myself. Tired of it.